Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Stacey and today's video is going to be a ship tour of the Carnival celebration from my cruise back in April of 2025. This ship is massive, holding over 6,000 passengers and just over 1,700 crew. As I was editing this, the music around the ship was extremely loud, which was something I noticed during the duration of the cruise, but I didn't know it would pick up so clearly on my mic as I walked around the ship. Now, this could be a combination of the settings on my camera and my microphone, but also the fact that everything was just so loud all the time. I debated whether or not to do a full voiceover because the audio wasn't so great, but ultimately I decided to leave it in. I watched a ton of ship tours and vlogs before coming aboard the Carnival celebration, and none of those vlogs prepared me for just how loud and crowded the ship would be, literally at all times. So I wanted to show the reality of this so that if that's something you need to be prepared for, you can absolutely do that using this video. This is going to be a long one and I hope you watch it to the end because the ship is absolutely beautiful and I captured a ton of details and describing the different areas along the way. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. I post 3 travel and lifestyle videos a week and I have some really fun trips coming up. So let's get into this video.
We are beginning on deck 6 forward. We have the Cloud 9 Spa, and then we have the fitness center, which I have a full tour of that I did earlier in the week that I will insert here. Sorry. Okay, so this is the fitness center. Looks like there are some workout rooms, probably classes over here, some water fountains, and probably another room for classes. And then a lot of cardio equipment. So we come back down here. And then around here looks like a lot of ab stuff. Cardio. Nice ocean view over here. And then we can go around. Cool. Lots of treadmills. Some bikes. And then around here, there's some free weights, machines. It's basically a full service gym. So there's somebody working out over there, so I'm not gonna go over there in the free weights. Cool. So that is the fitness center. I have not been in the spa. They also have the thermal suite and all of that in there too. And then we have the forward elevators. And then we have the Punchliner Comedy Club. And today we have Noel Sanders. And then this really pretty, like, textured mural of the ship with little tiny details of things on the ship, like the boat roller coaster and some beachy things and just some fun travel type things. And then there's a little sign here about the naming ceremony, and the ship came out for Carnival's 50th birthday. The ship kind of is designed so that you have a hallway on one side of the ship and then a hallway on the other, so we'll probably begin and end near the same areas on each deck, so then we reach the piano bar, and Raleigh has been the piano performer this week. And moving along, we come to Java Brew Cafe. They sell coffee, cocktails, some desserts that are an upcharge, and I think some regular pastries as well. And then over to the left, we have the Deck 6 portion of the Celebration Central. and then the Tropical bar. It has some really cool mosaic on the wall and decor area. And then here is Grand Central, or no, Center Stage they call it. And they have a few shows in there that are really cool. And we'll get over there here shortly. And then moving along, we've got Cherry on Top. It is a sweet shop that does cost extra. And then we have the whatever car this is in the gateway that says Embark on a Journey. And then there is a small couple little areas for seating. Last night they had a portrait taking spot set up there. And then coming through here, this is one of our favorite bars, and they're currently closed because it's pretty early in the morning. I wanted to capture this with a little less people on the ship. So this is the Golden Jubilee, and it kind of gives homage to other ships that I think are decommissioned. And then on the wall, it says celebrating 50 years of fun on both sides of this space. And then this is probably one of the few spaces that are a little more enclosed in terms of like bars and lounges. Hopefully you can hear me. They have the music up fairly loud and there's literally nobody in here, so it's kind of weird. But I'll just do a bit of B-roll of the design and decor in here. This is a mirrored wall, but there is some like etched in wall decor on there. But I don't know if the camera is picking up because it's reflecting from the lighting and all of that in here. And then there's the sign. And then this side, I don't know if you can see it, but on kind of right here, there's like the classic Carnival tail fin funnel design. So exiting the Golden Jubilee, we run into kind of a here's today. It's like 50 years of like carnival like experiences and things like that. And 2000s, 90s, and then there's three more, but first we have a beautiful model of the ship, and it's pretty detailed too, so like you can see where they even have like seating. And this right here is the Havana Cabana pool, which is where Tyler and I are staying, all the way down to like the propellers down here, and probably I think that's crew lounge space for like being outside, and then all the way up to like the top deck. It's pretty cool. And then the celebration, written out like ship name on the ship there. And then the Bolt roller coaster, the water slides, the ropes course. It's pretty detailed, pretty cool. And then moving on, there's another one of these. It kind of gives a little bit of what the first fun ships all the way to today, the things that Carnival had to offer. And then there is this. I'm not sure if it was a like thing that made the ship go from an old ship, one of the first ones. And then here is the 1980s, kind of about the entertainment architecture. And then the first fun ships was in the 70s. And then there is, this looks like probably their christening cruise or something like that, of the inaugural sailing, actually, of the, I think it's a combo of stuff about the inaugural sailing of the Carnival celebration, and then some photos of older things, because like this is 1987. And then moving on, we have the Carnival Festival restaurant, and they are currently setting up for the Thing 1, Thing 2 breakfast, the Dr. Seuss thing. And then there's another ship in there. So moving on, hopefully you can hear me because the music is quite loud in here too. We've got some like photos of different destinations: Bahamas, Cuba, Australia, Norway, Egypt, Malaysia, Alaska, Mexico, New Orleans, Hawaii, Italy, and Greece. And then we have some seating for the Latitudes Bar, which is themed after like an airport basically. So we are going to go through there real quick. Also, this bar is closed because it's pretty early in the morning. They do have a coffee station set up currently. And then I love the theming in here, so I'll just do another bit of just the theming here real quick. like actual bar on the left here, and then on the right there is more seating, and then where I came from next to Carnival restaurant over there. And then moving along, we have Emerald's Bistro. And then in here, these windows up above will do different shows. So we watched the Time Ring one, which was really cool, which I might do again and capture a few clips. I don't remember if I did or didn't. And then there's another one we haven't seen that we just discovered. So we'll watch that one today. And then moving along, this map right here is really cool. It's right next to Emerald's Bistro. So we are currently here, and it kind of tells you about the ship a little bit and where we are. And then there's like where other ships are. So that one is the Velour. And then right here, it looks like it is a ship in dry dock. And then there's a couple of ships in Australia. And then a few ships here in Alaska, Baja, Mexico. And then most of them look like they are in the Caribbean here. And then moving along, we have the beautiful mirrored crystal staircase here. And then on the right here is the Carnival kitchen. So you get to do cooking classes in here. Tyler and I did a sushi making class. So I think on day 1 of the vlogs. So look for those. I'll link that video below. And then moving on, we are completely aft of the ship, and we are in the Carnival Festival restaurant. So far on this ship, it looks like the way they have the restaurants set up is they have the anytime dining here on the Carnival Festival restaurant, and then anyone with the specific dining times in the Carnival, Restaurant Carnival, that's what it's called. That's what Tyler and I did. We did the specific dining times, but half the time the menu didn't sound too exciting, so we didn't eat there. We ate in a couple of other restaurants. Okay, so that is the end of deck 6. I'm going to go upstairs to deck 7. The bits at the forward of deck 6 just goes back into Carnival Celebration, Celebration Central. There we go, that's what they call it. With the central stages. And so we've got level 2 of the Festival restaurant, and then the aft stairs. And then we've got Fahrenheit 555, the steakhouse. Tyler and I are eating here tonight. Level 2 of the crystal staircase. It goes up another one. We probably may not see that in this tour. Just depends on where I end up on level 8 towards the end of showing all the things on that level. So moving along, we go into the alchemy bar, and there's a lot of seating. over here, and then you can see over, these are the windows I was talking about. There's a show, and down below is Emerald's Bistro. And then if we look at the floor, it's a really cool, it's basically like chemical compounds of certain things. I want to say one of them is probably ethanol, which is the alcohol we drink. And then the artwork has chemical compounds as well. So I'm going to do a quick little montage here. Along, we get into the bar itself, which everything is almost in like the middle of a hallway, all the bars and stuff, so you have to walk through and past all of them to get literally anywhere. So down here is basically the whole periodic table, and then some fun little signs, like this one's out, today's event, pain relief, and these little cubbies, I don't know if they're functional like cabinets or anything, but they also are in the shape of the periodic table. I think that's really fun, on theme. And then this side overlooks the alchemy bar, and there is the Limelight Lounge, which we have not been in yet because there's been private functions in there, because there's a Expedia cruise group on board, and they've been in a lot of the closed off lounges doing stuff like that. And then there's seating here on both sides. And then we are now Midship, so this is the Midship elevators, the other side of the Limelight Lounge. And then there are just some restrooms over here. And this is a really cool like clock thing here. Oh, I think I did miss a couple of things on deck 6 on the starboard side of the ship. So here's one shop, it's courtside liquor and tobacco. Island Traders, which I think is typically just them having some carts set up here, which they don't have because it's early in the morning. And then Shop Fun and Style. Everything in the shop is below $30. Because I think I missed a couple of shops downstairs. So here's another part of Celebration Central. This is deck 7. And the stage, the center stage. And so there's quite a bit of seating. A lot of it is just chairs and these couches. And then there is some like stadium seating, like right here. And then that's on deck 6, that's on deck 7. And then this is like their DJ booth, like controlling lighting and tech stage. There we go. That's what it's called. And then you can pass through and walk through there, because we have the casino here, and then on the other side, so going all the way through here, staircase to come around. That goes to the casino, so that just goes back down to deck 6. This one actually goes to the casino. And then here's that other stadium seating on deck 7. This is the Aquaria bar. It's actually really cool, a really cool space. And then coming through here, this is still considered Celebration Central. We have the casino. I'm not going to actually walk through it because I can't remember which side is the smoking side and which one's not, and I just don't want to walk through it. So I'm sure you can find vlogs Maybe my dad got some footage. I'll insert if he did. Oh, I didn't notice this. That's really cool. So all of these glass throughout the ship that we see is actually made by this artist, this glass artist. Nice. That's really cool. Okay, I'm gonna go down to deck 6 and yeah, before we go back up to 7 or 8. Okay, we're about midship, deck 6. And here is the other side of the Celebration Central Grand Stage. A little bit of seating. They've had photos set up here. And then, so like this side we saw earlier was the car and the cherry on top. And then moving along, we have the shops. We have hip fish accessories, hip fish beauty and fragrances. So it's like mostly fragrances and then a couple of cosmetic brands. And then in here is just some like flip-flops and bags and things like that. And this is where I got a charm bracelet that's actually really cool. There's like a charm of the day. And then this one is more of like designer. They've got Chanel, Gucci, and Louis Vuitton. I didn't see any other brands, but that's all I saw in there. So that is hip fish. And then this is basically where I came around from Carnival Restaurant Carnival into the Latitudes Bar. And then we have another crystal staircase area. And then this work of art that is supporting St. Jude. And then another crystal staircase, which I'll go up, and brings us to the upstairs portion of what they are calling the gateway. And we're back at the Alchemy Bar. Next, we're going to go up to deck 8, and we're going to start, we're about midship, so I'll start this portion of it wherever we are. So yeah, we're back at the Portside Liquors, Island Traders, and this little shop here. 8, Celebration Central space. Again, quite a bit more seating for center stage right here. And then the stadium seating kind of goes from deck 7 all the way up here. And then there's some stairs right there. And then there's some more seating here. And then a walkway over there. So we're going to go around over on this side. And then end on the forward of the ship. Okay, so coming through here, we have Pixels, which is kind of a place where you can find and look at all of your photography photos that the photographers have taken. And then you can buy things like these crystal with your photos in it. And then we have 820 here. Which is like a homage to like Miami. Kind of shows all of the venues that are right here. And again, the music's a little bit loud. And we have this. And then right here is the Piscina del Capitano restaurant, which was actually very tasty. We're coming through here. This is bar 820. They also serve coffee in the morning, and that's where Tyler and I have gotten coffee every single morning. And so there's tiny bits of seating over here, and then more seating on the other side of this hallway. And then we come through here, and there is tons of seating. We have Miami Slice, which is really, really tasty pizza on board. We've been getting that almost every single night. And then the Deco Deli, which they sell sandwiches. And then right here is one of like the beverage stations that does not have soft drinks, but Tyler and I have been coming up here for water. But they also have juice and just regular type coffee, hot chocolate. And then in the Deco Deli, we've got a tuna sandwich, turkey sandwich, caprese sandwich, grilled ham and cheese, Reuben, meatball, cubano, croqueta sandwich, pan con lechon, that type of sandwich with salmon and provolone, Americano, Carnival, and hot dogs. Moving along, this is deck 8 of the crystal staircase that goes down to deck 6. And then we've got Rudy's Sea Grill, which we have not been in yet because it costs extra and Tyler doesn't like fish, so it's not really worth it for us. And then here is the menu. And then a couple of kiosks. That one is an ATM. This one allows you to kind of look at your onboard account. And then more little stations for pixels for the photos. And then on the left here is where you can book shore excursions, which you can also do through the app. So you don't actually necessarily need to come through here to do that. And it looks like they sell some bags and sunscreen and water shoes and things that you would need on a port adventure, especially if you last minute booked something and you weren't really planning to. So moving along, we have the aft elevators and the guest services counter. Hello. And we've been over here a couple times and they've been very helpful. And then we are in Summer Landing, which has Guy's Pig and Anchor, the patio, the watering hole, and the Carnival store, and the Heroes Lounge. So starting with Guy's Pig and Anchor, Carnival store, basically all of Carnival's branded merchandise. And then here, they brew some beer on board. So we'll start with Guy's Pig and Anchor here. And these are the beers that they brew on board. And so here's the bar area, and then all of the seating. And then on the other side of this wall, they're serving breakfast. It's a buffet. And then over here is another soda station with a water filling station and juice and stuff like that. And then over in the Heroes Lounge, we have a big screen TV. There has been sports on pretty much the entire time. It's the hockey NHL playoffs, so they've been on. And then the ice cream, they usually have some bowls here and then cones here. It's currently closed because it still is early in the day. And then coming outside is the patio pool. Oh, first, before we go outside, there is some foosball tables in here and some like a tabletop shuffleboard. We haven't done any of this yet. We might do some today. We'll see how today goes. We'll just go out to the patio from this side. And then I love that all of the doors on the ship are motion activated. Like this goes into restrooms. All of the doors in the restrooms have that, so you don't actually have to touch the door. And so on this side we have the watering hole here, and then going further back Back over there is the other side of bar 820, just that's outside, and then the smoking area is over there too. And then we've got 2 hot tubs over here and a pool back here. So I'll just walk through and you can see all the things. They're seating underneath for some shade. It's pretty much shady all day from what I've seen so far. And then this pool is literally as far aft at the back of the ship as you can get. Oh look, there's another ship over here. I wonder how much I can zoom that in. Nice. Camera didn't pick it up well, but I can see it. I'm moving along. There are also these little lounge beds over here, which are cool. And then we have the outside of Guy's Pig and Anchor. And this is where you can get the afternoon buffet for lunch. Good morning. And then here is the lunch menu. And then there's more seating here. And then further down is some outdoor seating for Rudy's Sea Grill, which I'm not going to walk all the way down because there's actually no entrance back inside the ship from all the way down there. And there's a really quiet spot, some couches to lounge in. And then coming back inside, there's always a band here playing in the evenings, and then this is the buffet for breakfast. And then we had come from guest services. We're going to go to the left here and go to the aft elevators and look at some of this really cool artwork that's through here. This looks like that glass artwork. I wonder if it's that same artist. And that says, "We Heart St. Jude," because Carnival is a big contributor for St. Jude. And then on the left here is some Thomas Kincaid art. And then it looks like there's some missing, so I wonder if that was part of the art auction from earlier this week. And moving on, we have the elevators. And then all of the elevators have a deck plan of that deck, and then kind of lists where everything is on the ship. And then where are we at? So we have to go this way to get anywhere else. So we've already been through this portion. There's some outdoor seating out here. You can kind of see it through the windows. This, I think, is the non-smoking outdoor seating of this space. And then coming through here, we've got Miami Slice again, back to bar 820. And then you can go outside right here, and then smoking is on the other side of the bar. So just through this door right here, the staff goes between the two spaces to serve that bar outside. And so now we are walking through Pixels again. And then we can come through the mid elevators, and then straight through there is still Casino del Capitano, the Italian restaurant on board. And then the Midship elevators, these go up to deck 17. We come all the way back to Celebration Central. And then on the left here, we have Effie, the jewelry store and fine watches and that kind of thing. And then we have Bonsai Sushi, which overlooks the ocean. That's really pretty. It is an extra additional charge. I'm going to capture this sun on the water real quick. Right next to it is the host stand for Bonsai Sushi as well as Bonsai Teppanyaki. We did the hibachi for lunch a couple of days ago. Check out that day's vlog. I think it was day 5. And I'll have that linked below. And then here we have more seating for the center stage. And then right over here, there is a staircase that leads down to the casino. There's a million entrances for it. And then we have some beautiful artwork. And then more of that glass art. And then this glass bridge walkway that looks over the Aquaria bar, as well as center stage. And coming through here, some more seating. And then Dreams Studio, where you can have a photo session. And then through here is the Havana bar. I will have to get some footage of it later because it says there's a private function. And then coming through here, we have Chibang. Reach the forward elevators. And the Havana Cabana rooms, which Tyler and I are staying in, so I'll come back over here real quick. It's Cuba, so all of the theming through here is of Havana, Cuba. There's a couple more staterooms down that way. And then our room is 8285, and then I put up our magnets. 9, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 are all staterooms. So we're going up to deck 16. And then also decks 3, 4, 5 are also all staterooms as well. Okay, and we are forward on deck 16. And so there are staterooms on either side here. And then coming through, we get to the Lido Deck, which is going to be fairly loud. So hopefully you'll be able to hear me. And then again, all of the doors are motion censored, which is really nice. Okay, so down here, we immediately have Blue Iguana's Cantina. And then the street eats along with the pool area. And another beverage station. And seating. And then down each side there is a ton of seating. Good morning. Then we've got the Red Frog. I highly doubt you can hear me. Oh, that's really cute. There we go. And then the Red Frog. And so, get towels here. We can go up to deck 17 here, and that's level 2 of the Tiki Bar, or the Red Frog Bar. And then coming through here, we are Midship. And on either side is the Lido Marketplace, which is the onboard buffet, and it's actually pretty massive. There's a whole other side over here. And then all the entrances have hand washing stations. Hand washing station. Looks like restrooms. And then back here is the Tides pool. So there's lots of seating. The Tides bar. Hand washing station. Ice cream station. Hello. And then the tides pool. There's a hot tub here, pool, hot tub, and then coming around this way, we have Big Chicken. Another drink station and condiment space, and then the other side of the Lido marketplace, and then all the things, shacks, and then shacks, hand, massive hands, and then I don't want to go through the buffet again, so we're going to go upstairs to deck 17. But first, we're going to check out the view because the tides pool is also fully aft of the ship. So at the very back, here is the entrance to the little showers that they have near all the pools. And the back of the ship. And then there's that same Carnival ship we saw when we were down on deck 8. Okay, going up to deck 617. Okay, we've got some loungers and a bunch of seating area around here. And I think what we're going to do is go up to deck 18 before we continue on this deck because it's only half this deck. So deck 18 is the ultimate playground, starting with a mini golf. So we are still at the very aft of the ship. So there's mini golf kind of on both sides here. And coming around the ultimate playground, we come through here. And this is supposed to be the jogging track, but when it's busy, on a sea day, nobody's jogging anywhere. So here is like the little kids splash pad area. To get to all of these water slides, we go up these steps. And then here is the entrance to go to the Bolt roller coaster. And then there is a model of the coaster. There's a little one on there, so I'm gonna let that be. And then the entrance. And what's pretty cool about the Bolt is they do reservations through the app, so you don't have to wait in any lines or anything like that. So that's pretty cool. And then the view from here, there's that Carnival ship again. And then these loungers here. And then we come to the sports court, and then above it is the ropes course, which I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to be able to do either the Bolt roller coaster or the ropes course, because yesterday while I was in court, I hurt myself, so I'm not sure if I'll get any footage of it. But yeah, the Bolt roller coaster kind of stops here, and the ropes course goes all the way around the sports court here. And then we'll just walk around all the way around the track. You can see the ropes course up above. And then there is some ping pong and cornhole, another foosball table, water fountains, and then from here you can overlook the deck 17 and deck 18 or deck 16 and 17 of the Lido Deck. And then coming back around, this goes into the Midship elevators. And then this is the entrance to get up to the ropes course. And then another foosball table. And then the other side of the sports court. We're going to go down the stairs on this end. Back to deck 17 because There's another ice cream, and then also Guy's Burgers. So there's some like outdoor seating for Guy's Burgers as well. And then there's Club O2, and then the other kids club is just kind of down the hallway there. I'm not gonna walk down there though. And then we've got Guy's Burgers, and these are the burgers. And then lots of seating through here. The theming is really cool. It's like a surf theme. And then of course there's all of the toppings that you can get on your burger. And then we're gonna get to the other side of deck 17 from here because the full deck 17 does not fully connect. So now we are at the upper level of the tiki bar, or yeah, Red Frog Tiki Bar, which those are the stairs I passed by when I went around, going up to deck 17 over here, or deck 18. We are on 17. There is tons of seating through here. Good morning. And then we have even more seating over here, and then we move on to the Serenity, which is a mirrored sign, so you can see me. And this is the adults only space. And there is a hot tub on one side and tons of loungers. And then through here is Fresh Creations. They'll have like salads and stuff here for lunch. And then this is the Serenity Bar. There's a nice sunken seating area. The pool, it's not open yet because it's still pretty early in the morning. And we're almost as forward as you can possibly get on the ship. Tyler and I watched the sunrise on our first sea day here, but that'll be in day 2, actually. Day 2 was our first sea day of the vlogs. Even more loungers and seating. The wind must be coming from the other side of the ship because it was very windy. And then even more loungers and these beds. And then that's pretty much it for deck 17. There's more on deck 18, but that is the Loft 19, which are very specific to people who book those rooms or book a cabana there separately. And this deck doesn't go through, so you just have to go through the elevators to get anywhere else because there are staterooms that way. Now from here, going all the way down to deck 8. Okay, so that's going to conclude the ship tour of the Carnival celebration. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got all the information you needed. And yeah, so I'm going to conclude this video. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. And I'll have my vlogs linked down below. Check or my playlist for the Carnival celebration. So check that out. Deck 8. So check that out, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.